Welcome to Swolehammer. With Warcry 2.0 and Arcane Cataclysm box also coinciding with that release, we wanted to take an opportunity to look at two factions that are interesting to both Riley and I. Riley being a new Lumineth player, and me being the classic, hardened, miserable Tzeentch player.
Yeah, that feels pretty accurate. I'd also like to add Avatar The Last Airbender fan for Lumineth. Pretty similar
Yeah,
vibes.
but they're not in this box.
Shut up!
But either way, so we wanted to take a look, because obviously this is a cool box to us in AOS, but there's a lot of value to be had in Warcry as well. So we will go over a list that we each came up with. Riley's Lumineth versus my Tzeentch, and talk about what can you get value-wise out of this box in Warcry.
So using the rule that we can only use models from the box, this is kind of the list that I came up with. A lot of these models do pretty similar things. What's key is that they all have the warrior rune mark. It allows you to make a lot of use of the Shining Company double. Basically makes it to where if you have other warrior friends nearby, enemies roll -1 attack into you and your friends within an inch of you. So it kind of makes the normally very glass cannon-y Venari Blade Lords and High Sentinel a little more durable than they would normally be. You also have two of the Venari Dawn Riders who also have the warrior rune mark in there, just for kind of like speed options to kind of zip around the board. Sit on points, grab treasures, whatever you need them to do. They're fairly durable. They're not as durable as a lot of the big bruiser like cavalry units that you'll see in a lot of other factions, but they get the job done and they're less expensive because of that. I use the High Sentinel because it has a really cool triple called Sharp-Eyed Scryhawk. Basically, it lets you pick a target within 20 inches. You don't even have to have visibility on it. And until the end of the battle round, all of your units have, fighters, I'm used to playing Sigmar lately, get +1 attacks into that target. So it really lets you set a priority target if there's something that you really need to desperately scoop off the board. If there's something where it's like, oh man, I really want to take this thing out for like a bounty hunter's mission, you can tag something with the High Sentinel and then send in the Dawn Riders to go scoop it off. Everything within this list has pretty good damage too, which is something that's that really drew me into it. I would say the downside to this faction and to this list in general is that one, Blinding Brilliance, the reaction for Lumineth Realm Lords, isn't fantastic. I mean, we've kind of discussed it before, but having a lower tier reaction is in effect a painful nerf in a world where some faction reactions are just simply fantastic. If model-to-model comparisons to those factions feels fair, but your reaction is worse, then your faction overall is going to be worse. That's all I'll say on that. The other downside to this list in particular is that your list really excels when your Blade Lords can group together, and really anything with the Warrior Rune Mark, basically everything in the Warband can group together. So when you have a list that's a little more elite like this, it might be difficult to get those battle groups that are divided by 3, in to kind of party buff each other with the Blinding Brilliance and really mess things up. But overall, I like this warband and I would really enjoy playing it, I think. 2-inch range is just good at the end of the day. They have high damage, and they have a lot of synergy together. That's pretty much it, and I'll kick it over to you for your Tzeentch list.
So for the Tzeentch half of this box, I went with the leader is my Curseling, the new model. I did it, Riley didn't do it for hers. Then for the fighters in this list, we have 2 Zangors with Savage Greatblades, a Zangor Mutant, Carrick Acolyte with Cursed Blade, an Arcanite Shield, Carrick Acolyte with Scroll of Dark Arts, Carrick Acolyte with Voltkark, and a Zangor Enlightened on Disc of Tzeentch. My goal was to use at least one of each models from this box, and I generally like the results. All your chaffy units, i.e. Zangors and Carrick Acolytes, are fairly good value pieces. I went with using the variants of both units, since they all have cool differences and even specific abilities to them, such as the Carrick Acolyte with Volkark sporting a double that allows you to snipe an enemy model within 20 inches and they can't disengage. As for your leader, the Curseling, he's an amazing model with a good stat line, but is slow and has nothing specific to him, so there's kind of just a blandness to it, even with his spectacular look. Lastly, the Zangor Enlightened on Disc is the classic good value beat stick with 2-inch attack range and toxic 10-inch fly, rounding out the list well since everything else is slow-ish. As for abilities, the reaction is fine, but can't really touch their demon counterparts since they have Split, which is broken. Otherwise, it's nice that you're able to use most of the Tzeentch Arcanite fighter abilities since they're all doubles. except the Zangor Enlightened one. Your leader, the Curseling again, can use 2 of the hero abilities. While the triple is silly in my opinion and will never be used, the double is to increase your missile strength, so it has usage. Though, as a Tzeentch Mortals player, you will live and die by the uttered words of Arcane Power ability. It is just so good. Honestly, if I continued to play Tzeentch Mortals in Warcry 2.0, I'd sport this list, or something damn close. You get all the valuable fighters you need from this box, most of their abilities, and I just love the models in general. Highly recommend. So that's it!
If you guys end up picking up the Arcane Cataclysm box and using some of the models in Warcry, let us know. Similarly, let us know if you like the content that we've been putting out in these videos, and if you'd like to see more of it, we could definitely do that.
And don't forget to check out, we do YouTube polls and other stuff to keep everyone engaged because we want to know what content you want to see. So as always, this is Rafiq and Riley.
Stay swole.
With Swolehammer.
Oh, stay swole.